What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Wrestling Heroes and Insiders podcast, aka The Whip Show. You know, we always got to bring that fire to you, man. And this episode is going to be awesome. This one is going to be real special, man. But before we bring them on, we want to do what we do. You know what to do. Like, share, comment, tag this page, whatever you do. And also, you know we on some new platforms. We're not only on Roku, on Mize TV, we are now officially on 106.1 FM radio, WAKT Toledo's community radio station. So the 419, you're getting this person before anybody else. So right now, I want to bring in a star, a legend. This man has been doing this thing for many, many years in the wrestling world. Former WCW, former WWE, ECW superstar, Big Vito LaGrasso. How are you, man?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for having me on the show. You know, man, I like when you're in the studio. It reminds me of the days when I was with Tupac and Biggie Smalls and shit. You know what I mean? This is the whip come to you live from the 419, yo. Okay. And we getting down live, right? Because we got the attack to throw the smack on down. And this is how we doing it here. We only bringing the stars to you. So here, listen up in the 419. Get with it, Toledo, and tune in and hit the like button, subscribe, do what you got to do, and support the whip.
You heard that. You heard what the man just said. It's nothing else to say, man. Woo! Vito, I got to tell you, brother, you are looking amazing, dog. How are you getting to find the youth like this, man?
I'm looking at the pictures on your screen there, and I'm looking at that and I'm saying, man, that's one good looking son of a bitch. And I'm looking at myself on the video. I say, man, you're still a good looking son of a bitch. I'm telling you.
That's what's up, man. Do you want to give out your secrets, man? How you stay so young and youthful?
Bro, I've been taking care of myself for a long time, and I take care of my face. I take care of my teeth, my skin. I stay in shape. I'm working out. I was in the sauna today I went to the jacuzzi first for a good half hour, came back, then I went to the sauna and then the jacuzzi again. I was in there for another hour, shrinking down. And it's just about nutrition, you know, how you take care of your face products, what you use on your face, um, eating healthy, no greasy foods, no fats, you know, working out, being active. You know, right now my mixture is I'm an avid pickleball player and I am looking for sponsors. I'm trying to go pro on the pickleball circuit. And you know, and plus we're working out in the gym, very lean right now, very lean. My wife even noticed today, she says, you look like you did, you know, 20 years ago when I first met you, or even like when your heyday in the WWE. I'll never be that ripped and shredded again, but I'm close. You know, I'm under 210 right now. I look good. I feel good, you know, moving good. I am accepting bookings because I'm back in the wrestling world, you know, and I'm trying to lay the smackdown on some people, trying to get, you know, work. As everybody knows, my wife has been having a lot of back issues, a lot of surgeries. So I got to stay home and I got to take care of her. She's home now from the hospital, had a rough stay, reconstructive back surgery. That is why I've been selling my merch. That is why I've been selling my memorabilia, because I'm not working. I'm trying to work from home, getting bookings and working on the weekends. So if you're out there, promoters, and you could throw a shout out my way or throw me a couple bookings, I'd appreciate it. I'm willing to work or do seminars or do anything. I'm open WrestleMania weekend. I'm open for the rest of March. I'm accepting bookings, guys. Book it. Be right here. You know, even to come to the 419 and do this baby live, baby live. You know how it is?
That's what's up, man. I'm glad to hear that you back out there, man. Like I said, you look great. So I know you can do it, man. So how long have you been back in the ring? Because I know you did take a little time off, man.
I was doing it. I came back actually a couple of years ago, and I thought my wife was okay, and then she wound up going in the hospital again. She wound up going in four times in the hospital that year, and I said, "That's it. I'm done. I'm not doing it no more. I can't leave you." You know, and it's a choice you make. You know, it's like you take care of your wife or wrestling comes first. Well, when I, you know, married her, they said you come first and wrestling second. I kept my word to her. and she's been handicapped for 10 years. 10 years we're married. And I never went back on my word. We have our good days and bad days. There are days I miss the business and days I don't. But what it is it's real life, people. You know what I mean? And you make choices. So you either stick with your family and take care of your wingman, or you leave them hanging. And it's been a rough road, because I get the great workouts in the gym. I look good. I feel good. I'm playing ball. I'm doing things, but I just have that missing. Like Rocky says, I still have it burning inside of me. You know what I mean? I still have that. It's inside there. If I wasn't looking like this, and this goes out to everybody, I would not even say, "Hey, I'm coming back." I don't want to be known as, that guy who did this, or look at him now. Nah, I mean, I'll never be that stud I was. I'll never be that blue chipper again. But the work that goes into being a pro, I still do my squats, I still do my running, I still do my workouts, and to look like this and to be this active now, and have, take care of my wife and do all this stuff. Guys, it's what it is. You know what I'm saying? If I can get on with NXT, if I could get in on AEW, if I can get into NWA, any of the TNA, any of the big wigs, one more run. I know I ain't got 5 years, 6 years, and it's going to be an investment. But 1 or 2 years I could do. 1 or 2 years is what I need. So if you're out there and you're listening, I know Tony D'Angelo, he's been in that NXT for, I don't know, 3 years now. He's trying to be made. He ain't made yet because he ain't been with me. And everybody knows I'm the godfather of the mafia, and I'm the real deal. And I'm the guy who is the nephew of Lucky Luciano. Legit.
For a shoot.
For a shoot.
Wow.
And we just found this out a few months ago. Was we were doing our family tree. And and guys, this is not a joke. I have the family tree to show everybody if they want the credentials or they want everything, right? When I was growing up, I knew I had one grandfather. When I was about in between 9 and 12, my mother says I have to go to my father's funeral. And I says, but our grandfather's living. She says, no, I have a father. So I didn't put two and two together. And I went to the funeral, I met these people, and I let it go for a bunch of years. So it came up that something was with my mother's family was bothering me. So I did a family tree. And when you do the ancestry thing, I found out I am the nephew of Lucky Luciano through my uncle, through my mother and Uncle Joe. And we're related to, I guess it's a good thing I didn't know back in my young days when I used to run Staten Island. I used to hang with some families and do my thing. But, Lucky Luciano's I'm cousins with Paul Castellano.
Mm.
So when you think about like family trees and real gangster stuff, I'm it. So if you're going to bring somebody in who's legit, everybody back in the day in WCW, they said Chuck Zito's legit. Chuck Zito was legit, right? But they couldn't have him on the show because he was too legit.
Right.
Right. So that was the thing with Chuck Zito. And then people were saying, well, when did you find this out? I said, I just found this out. So there's a lot of things in the fire, a lot of things I like to do, and before anybody says it, but you wore a dress. You know why I wore a dress, people? Okay. I was under a federal investigation, just like the Chin, right? When the Chin used to use the robe, he didn't want to go to jail. It's crazy. Me, I had this fetish for dresses. I didn't want to go to jail. You know what I'm saying? So there's the explanation why I wore the dresses. I'm just throwing it out there in case anybody.
Because I'm glad you said that, because the first question, I was going to ask a different question, but my boy Maverick here just submitted, ask Vito who came up with the dress code finisher and how did they come up with it. So he wants to know how you came up with the finisher and the whole dress thing.
All right. So the finisher was me and Fit Finley were trying to come up with something. I said, if I come up with a real legit choker, but put it under the dress. And it was like, okay, and I did it. So, and everybody got a kick out of it. Anytime, anybody's head went under the dress, that was the pop of the night because that's what you wanted to see. And if the guy knew how to react to it, hey, that's entertainment. If I was doing the dress gimmick today, I was 20 years ahead of my time. If I was doing the dress gimmick today, I'd be heavyweight champ at any Fed.
Man, you ain't lying. You ain't lying.
It's the truth. It's
Facts.
the truth. Fact, right? So do I go back and do the dress, or do I come out and be Big Vito, rough and tough, and dump the dress? So there's the happy medium I have. A lot of people like to see me with the dress because that was entertaining. And I'm like, yeah, but then people like Mafia Big Vito, the wise guy, come out and kick some ass. And I even told promoters, I said, if you need me to do hardcore, because I was legit one of the best hardcore wrestlers in WCW history. And I got the opportunity to work with a Mr. Terry Funk, who put me over on Nitro for the WCW hardcore title, handed me the belt like a gentleman and say, hey, we're passing the torch to you. Because if I wasn't any good, he wouldn't have did it. Wouldn't have put me over. Wouldn't have been nothing. Then how many guys could say you got a handshake, a belt handed to you by the man? And Ric Flair always said, to be the man, you have to beat the man. And I beat the man.
Man, that's amazing right there, man. And you got so much I want to say. But first things first, I want to go with you talked about wearing the dress. Now, we heard the stories for years. Dusty Rhodes got put in what? The polka dots as a rib, but he made it work. You made the dress thing work, man. Like, when you first got the idea, were you like, oh no, I can't do this? Or you was like, man, I'm gonna make this pop?
They gave me something, I ran with it. But let me tell you guys something, right? When they gave Dusty Rhodes this as a rib and everything, I was brought up the same way as Dusty Rhodes. I went and became a worker, right? A worker who went to territories in the 90s, and I worked and I learned the business. And it wasn't that you just came up with this idea. Okay, what do I do with this? If anybody forgets, I was a German. I was Skull Von Crush. 8 solid years of being a German, going to Japan, Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, USWA, Santo Domingo. I went everywhere as a German, legit badass German, where they had to take me out in tanks, police escorts, and anywhere I went, it was serious, right? So here I am when, I hit ECW. They said, Vito, you're doing this Skull game. Why don't you just be Vito Skull Grasso from Staten Island, New York? And that's when we changed it. I went to WCW, became Big Vito, became, we went to Mamalukes. And, as you go along, you change characters and you change your persona. But the funny thing is, when they got to the dress, okay, here's a gimmick. Let's see if you can make it work. Whether it was a rib or not, hey, who knows? But I made it famous. I went undefeated. It was the most watched segments you ever wanted to see, because when I came out, that's what people waited to see. And they still talk about it and want to see me today. So who's the rib on, really?
Let's go. Real talk, man. That's absolutely real. Now, you just heard him. You guys heard the man. NXT, TNA, AEW. All these promotions are popping right now. It's a lot of big wrestling going on. Major League Wrestling, a lot of people getting TV deals. Bring that man in. But Vito, I want to ask you this. You said you already talked about Tony D'Angelo. Is there some guys out there that you really think that you can make some good music and good magic with, that you really want to dance with, man?
I look at a guy like Miro. That guy's a wrestler. He's a fighter, right? And he's an entertainer, and he's done some great things in the business. And I say, I could work a great program with that guy. And this is not disrespecting anybody in wrestling, right? This is saying, hey, who could you have a program with, or who could you wrestle with? The guy Miro is talented and he's had success. He sits on the sidelines and you say, okay, why? Then this is not a discredit to anybody who has a spot. Everybody wants to keep their spot. You know what I'm saying? But when you look at things who I could wrestle with, who could wrestle with me? Who can be with me? Talk about sliding into Tony D'Angelo and all these guys. I'd be a natural fit because they don't have a leader. The guy's been in NXT for 3-4 years now, hasn't moved up to the main roster. If he does move up to the main roster, it's not going to happen. The torch hasn't been passed to him. and nobody believes it's true because it comes off as funny and hokey. But if you had somebody who did it, lived it, and is legit, then it will become a legit gimmick. And everybody likes a gangster gimmick. And the reason they're not doing it on the main rosters.
Very true, man. Very true. I don't have to keep saying it. Bring him in. Y'all know what to do, man. But Vito, also, you talked about actually being there as a wrestler. But how would you feel about maybe an agent role or even coaching down at the PC?
Being a coach, I was born to be a coach because the way I trained coming up, people, I broke into the WWF and WCW in my first year, and I did TVs my first year. And I was doing that for 3, 4 years. And I was going to wrestling school plus wrestling independence, right? So now I went to wrestling school. I wasn't just going there once a week or once a month. I was there 3 and 4 times a week, every week for years. And that's how I became good, just repetition. Guys don't put the work in and they think, hey, this is not, it's easy. I'm going to be a pro wrestler tomorrow. I'm going to go take a bump. And then it doesn't work like that. The preparation, the training, the knowledge, learning how to wrestle from the ground up. I could teach that. I have my own wrestling academy, right? And when people used to come to my wrestling school and I used to let them wrestle against my students, they said, Vito, where are these guys wrestling? I said, they're not. I said, what are you talking about? These guys are students. They haven't had their first match yet. They said, are you serious? I said, yeah. These guys are trainees because I got them ready and primed. And everybody thinks you're supposed to rush out there and go out there and wrestle. You expose yourself because then you think this match is great. And the one thing I hate more than anything, guy buys merchandise, goes and buys gear, goes and buy all this stuff, and they think, okay, I got all this planned, having all their families and friends in coming in. But who are you? You didn't put the work in. I know wrestling is different today and a different mindset, but wrestling 101 still works today.
I see that, man. And I want to touch on that too. You're talking about now. You are having no problem adapting to the new world also. I see your social media. You show your real life too. Because, back in the day, wrestlers, we were behind that curtain. We didn't give our real selves to people. Do you think that's helped the business or kind of hurt the business that we show a little bit more of the real person behind the personality or the character?
Hurts the business because you can't live your gimmick and you can't be your persona. And you want the people to believe who you are. I wrestled in a dress, right? I did it for a year. I lived the gimmick. I traveled everywhere in a dress. I was the most recognizable pro athlete in sports. I got the pose in Playground magazine. I mean, anywhere I went, people knew who I was, right? And then when I used to go home for a couple of days from the road, I used to put on regular clothes, right? I was single at the time. I couldn't sniff nothing. When I put the dress on, it was a shit magnet. And I'm telling you, it was the most successful run I had as a bachelor because ladies just loved it. They were freaks.
Real.
Greatest time of my life. I was like, man, this is good. I'm doing this and doing that and having a great time. Not to say I didn't get my, I didn't share my flavors. I'm the king because I went to Baskin Robbins. There's 32 flavors. I tasted them all. Plus,
talk to him. Talk to him. This is what I love about you, man. You just talked about living the gimmick. Guys, do you hear this? He's Vito 24/7, 365 all the time, man.
Nah, it's sad. You talk about social media in the business. Social media is the reason why wrestling is the way it is today. Because when it was kayfabe, no girlfriends in the locker room, no wives in the locker room, no kids in the locker room. Everybody stays out. Never bring your girlfriend on the road. You don't bring your wife on the road. Everything is this. Work is work. Home is home. And there's no separation. Now everybody comes in like a free-for-all. And this is what killed the wrestling business. Not to say it's not doing well, because it's a different climate now. It's entertainment. And with the money and the streaming and social media, and everybody has a hand in it. But before, you had to pay your dues legit, the old school way, to be accepted in the wrestling business.
Very much so, man. I know I still do a little commentary and things at independent promotions here, as I told you. And some of our young boys, they can flip. But I tell you, that paying the dues thing, you want to just smack them upside the head, and you know what I'm talking about, man. I know you know what I'm talking about.
But like everybody does these flips and everything, and everybody does 100 high spots. But in the realm of things, what does it mean? We just saw Sting's last match, supposedly. Darby Allin,
Yep.
who is a great wrestler in AEW, did a leap of faith through glass. Now, the opinion is out there: was it right or was it wrong? Did it belong in the match? Did you have to do that? Was it, me personally? I did hardcore better than anybody out there. Not saying I'm boasting that there are a lot of guys who did it, but I never scarred my body. I never disfigured my face. I don't have anything wrong with me, but I was a hard hitting son of a bitch, and I took everything he had. And then at the end of the day, I was able to walk out of there, maybe some black and blues and black eyes, a bloody nose. You get some cuts, but nothing that devastating. And you know, he does these great things in wrestling that is tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people have a lot of opinions about it, but at the end of the day, when you go home and you just do okay, you got to take care of yourself. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying take care of yourself. That's all.
Sure.
My opinion, just take care of yourself.
For sure, man. Now I know, like I said, you did WWE, you did WCW, but ECW has to have a place still in your heart, man. So when you see all these ECW reunions and things, you're talking about 25 something years later, man, and people still care. Why is that, man?
Because it was real. Because it was something special. It was something that you did. Now, I went in there and I wrestled all the best wrestlers, right? And I had quality matches from Van Dam to Taz to Sabu to Jerry Lynn to all the best, right? And that's when I went to Paul Heyman and I said, can I have a spot? And I think it's time for me to move up. Vito, I don't have a spot to put you in. That's how they came up with the Baldies, and the Baldies were a good faction. Me, Angel, Tony DeVito, and Pia News, right? Went out there and fought Balls and Axel and New Jack. But then I left and I moved up to WCW, and that faction never had a chance to explode. And we were just getting started. So, I mean, that's an untapped potential. And then for all the great things that ECW did, from Shane Douglas to Raven to Taz, the Dudley Boys, a lot of guys went on to do great things in the business. And you know what I mean? And I even tell you one thing: when I was doing WWF, WWE TVs for 8 years until I went to ECW. I was friends with the beloved Howard Finkel and many, many people in WWE. Okay. From Sergeant Slaughter all the way down to booking everybody. I get a phone call. Howard Finkel, Vito, how are you? Howard, what's going on? How you doing? Hey, I heard you're having a great success in ECW. We'd like you to come to the WWE. I was like, what? I said, now? He says, yep, I want you to come down. We have a spot for you. I said, I'll call you back. Now, I waited all these years to get to the WWE, right? And here I am. I'm finally making my mark in ECW. And this is after Japan, when I pinned Mizawa. This is after my tours of Germany and Australia and all these other places. And I'm finally getting a run. And then I called up a couple of guys and I told them, I said, I got this phone call. They said, Vito, when you didn't have them, they said, they didn't want you, but now you're with us and they want you. He says, we gave you the shine, we gave you the rub, the shine. And I stayed with the ECW. And I turned WWE down.
Seriously. Wow. Okay.
I did.
Okay.
Know how hard that was for me to do?
I can't even imagine, man.
But
Wow.
but you guys got to remember something. At that time, ECW was on the rise and my star was on the rise, and I was having these prime matches, and I'm like, I'm over, like, hey. And now you call me after I worked for you guys numerous amount of times doing TVs, and now you want me.
I get it.
That
I
was
get
tough.
it.
That was a tough one. Not a lot of not anybody knows that.
I
That was the toughest, one of the toughest decisions to say no.
get it, man. I want to real quick jump in here. Christopher Ham just wanted you to know you are legendary, man. Just legendary. Just want you to know that. Now, you talked about dancing and having a program with Miro. Amazing feud. I can see that. But in your past, I know it's hard to say one. What would you say your favorite 2 or 3 feuds that you had, man?
Steven Regal,
Ooh, didn't expect that one. Okay.
that's a great feud. When WCW, when we were tag champs, when we wrestled everybody, we wrestled every day, 5 to 6 days a week with Disco as a manager. Um, RVD was another one of my favorites. Um, Terry Funk, and I wrestled a program with Terry Funk. Uh, when I wrestled a program with Kevin Nash, and I wrestled Kevin Nash one-on-one in the main event on Nitro. How many guys get to suplex Kevin Nash 7 feet tall?
This is
Nobody.
true. This is true.
This is
This is
true,
true.
right? And you know what? And in WCW, people got to see that I could wrestle. I wasn't just a brawler. And I said, listen, I got to be a wrestler. I got to like shy away from the hardcore, but incorporate it. And that's when I started to, come around and but like everything else, politics and John Laurinaitis strike again.
You said it. I wasn't going to bring him up, but since you said this man's name, but before I do that, I got to do the station tag. Make sure you guys check us out right here, the Whip Show on 106.1 FM, Toledo's community radio station. Well, I noticed on your social media, you've been dropping little teasers, little clips about that man, Johnny Laurinaitis. And a lot of people have a lot of bad things to say about him. Let's be totally transparent. What is your feelings about that man? How do you feel about him, man? Did he do something to you that you just, I can't stand him? What? Or is it a gimmick that you're working? Which one, man?
All right, guys, I'm gonna say it like this, okay? A lot of things happen behind the scenes. If I come out here on your social media network and I expose all the dirty laundry on him, I'm liable to be sued. So I can't really do that. Are there things that I can say that would be crucial to anything? Yes. Was I a witness to things? Yes. But because we're on your wonderful show, I'm not looking to put heat on you and heat on me. So let's just put it out there, guys. I'm a straight shooter and I don't bullshit. And if I'm saying that there's something that went down and something nasty, guys, believe it. But I can't elaborate here on this great show, and let Toledo in on the 411. You know what I'm saying?
For
You just
sure.
got to just deal with it and check out the podcast. When I say I hate John Laurinaitis, I'll tell you one thing. I'll give you this. I don't have an action figure or a T-shirt because of that man.
So is that the reason why, like, when the video games come out, we're not getting to play with Big Vito like we should? Wow. So that's a residual check right there that you're not going in your pocket like it should.
Many years ago. Many years ago.
All right.
And just think, if for a guy like me, who's wrestled with every major company in every territory, I don't have a T-shirt, I don't have an action figure. Do I suck that bad, or was I that good? And I was a champion.
That's crazy, man. That's
The
crazy.
wrestling business. The wrestling.
Yeah, it is, man. Yeah, it is. Do you stay up to date with some of the current product?
Yeah, I keep up with everybody, who I need to keep up with. I see what's going on, especially with The Rock and the Bloodline. It's interesting, and it's great that he came back. He's a great heel. AEW, what all they're doing when they brought back Flair and Sting and all the great talent that's down there, and everybody trying to make a name for themselves, which is great. I see that TNA finally, they switched over ownership and they're going in a different direction. Good luck with them. I know that NWA got a streaming deal.
Mm-hmm.
MLW just got something. And there's a lot of places that are up and coming, and everybody streaming seems to be the in thing, and everybody wants to get their product up. But the thing I have to say is, when we were doing TVs, right, in the old days, if I was to tell you all the cuts and splices that went on backstage that they didn't put out garbage and they put out everything was snug, everything was crisp, everything looked good. If it was shit, it got cut. Today, I don't think that some places cut and splice their matches to protect the business and protect their workers from being exposed. If they did that, I think the business would be taken more seriously and not overexposed to error.
Yeah, for sure.
And now you could say that this is very poetic, but this is a guy with over 30 years experience, been to all the major companies, all the territories, and could talk like an agent and actually direct and help some of the young wrestlers today be superstars and better than what they are if they just tightened up and listened to some of the guys who did it. It's just like going to a wrestling school. Like a lot of people say, Vito, I want to go to wrestling school. I said, why don't you get a college education first? Plan A doesn't always work. Got to have a plan B. If you have a plan B, you're going to be successful. Yeah, Vito, but I said, I'm lucky. I put the work in and I'm one of the few. I was a basketball player.
Mm.
I was a baller. I played in Madison Square Garden, captain the basketball team. I was carrying the rock and doing my thing. I was going to go pro. That didn't happen. I tried out the Olympic baseball team. That didn't happen. I was going to play semi-pro football. That didn't happen. And I did not have a plan B. And then I stumbled on pro wrestling. It clicked. But I'm an athlete. I was a gifted athlete to be able to do all these sports. Now, probably one of the greatest athletes we have out there today is Brock Lesnar. The most impressive thing about Brock Lesnar to me, and everybody's going to be shocked, was his football tryout.
Elaborate. I mean, I know, but elaborate why you say that.
Because he didn't play football for many years, and he went to the Minnesota Vikings training camp. Mm-hmm. Goes in there and almost makes the team as a walk-on without playing competitive football. He's wrestling. And you can't go from this to this without having natural gifts and being that gifted. I look at that and I say that is the greatest thing I ever seen. You almost made that team.
Do you know he even made it on? He's actually on the video game for that season. He's actually on the game. That is crazy. That's for the Minnesota Vikings. That's bananas, man.
And then people say, well, he won the UFC title. Everybody, I get it. But like when you look at pure athletes, that is probably one of the purest athletic things you could ever transition to. Mm-hmm. To go from not playing a sport to almost making a pro team. Right? It's just like pickleball, right? I'm trying to go on the pro circuit. Okay. I never played this game until a year and change ago. And here I am playing at a top level where say, hey, Vito, they just had a tournament here, like Polk County tournaments and everything. Vito, why aren't you playing? I said, I am not a complete player. They said, Vito, you. I said, no. I said, there are things I still want to work on. I said, but when I go to these games, I want to play at the tip-top level. And I want to play against best players and tournament players and pro players. I'm not looking to win a trophy. I want to play against the best that they got. And people understand that. When I was telling some guys today, they said, Vito, it'd be a good way for you. I says, no. So I'll just keep working. He said, but you're good enough. You're great now. You're good. I said, no. They said, it goes with your pedigree, doesn't it, from wrestling? I said, yeah, I'm a perfectionist.
Love it. I love it, man. That's a good way to be, man. I interviewed, if you remember, Black Bart. Used to be with Ron Bass, obviously a generation or two before you, but that was the same thing. He said, when you have that athleticism, when you really go hard like that, it stays in you forever. because he's 70-something years old and he's just as fired up as you are still. It's wild. But yes, I love that energy, man. But one thing I say, I know you got a lot of merch that you're trying to put out there as well. What are some of the pieces from your historical career that you're going to put up for auction to sell?
Well, I still have my FBI jacket that I'm trying to sell. I still have the original dress that I'm trying to sell that I wore on SmackDown. I have the famous blue sparkle dress that I wrestled with Steven Regal. I still have a lot of dresses. I still have masks. I still have some pictures. I'm going to be doing another auction. We're trying to maintain, and that's why I'm selling my merchandise. So if anybody out there is looking to buy some merch, hit me up at Big Vito at bigvito.com. If you're looking to book me at the same email address. I'm on Facebook. Hit up my man here at the Whip. He'll definitely set me up. And looking to have me come to Toledo. I heard they got some good clubs down there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's a DJ, drop this jump. And that's what I'm talking about.
Let's go, man. Let's go, man. Well, before we get out of here, I do got one more segment and one more question I got to ask you. But before we say that, WrestleCon and all you great conventions as well, bring this man in. You got all those other guys in there shaking hands that we might not even heard of. Bring in a legend like Big Vito. I'm just saying, I've been to WrestleCon multiple times, and it's cool. It's a great event. But you need to be celebrated at something like that, man. But my last question is this. It's a segment that's a little different. It's called the mark out moment. Now, when I say that, obviously, when I say mark out, I'm not saying you're like, oh my God, I can't believe and you're going crazy. But that moment where you were like, yo, I'm either eating with somebody or I'm kicking it with somebody or I met this person. Like, my life is kind of dope. What was that mark out moment from wrestling with you, man?
You're going to laugh. I had wrestled in some of the greatest places in 10 years, and I made it to WCW. It wasn't until 3 months in, and I guess I was just walking in a cloud, and here I am walking down the aisle, and I go to myself, holy shit, I'm tag team champion at WCW. I could just hit me at that moment, right? And I just looked around, and I couldn't believe it. I says, you're here. And then when I made it to WrestleMania and then making it to the WWE and I'm in the hotel and, I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I am fucking here at the WWE. I made my goal. I went all around the globe to get back to this point. And even my first match in the WWF, I looked up at the rafters and I said, man, I'm in the WWF, but then of course I was in Japan. Then it was that Japanese guy with green trunks laughing at me in All Japan, 1998, All Japan Battle Royal. Comes forward. I said, fuck this motherfucker up. Fuck you, man. Who you laughing at? I'm fucking big. I'm fucking Skullbound Crush. So they push this guy forward. Bing, 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 bang. I hook him. I pin him. Streamers, everybody goes crazy. The place is shocked. And who did I pin?
Talk to me.
Greatest wrestler of our generation this hour.
Woo! Y'all heard it. I mean, sometimes you just got to lay out. You just got to lay out. Something like that, you can just lay out and let it be, man. You got to let that breathe right there, man.
Yeah, but you know what, guy? Nobody told me what we were supposed to do. And I was like, okay. You green trunk son of a bitch. Okay, you want to fucking fuck with me? I'm the BIGV from the LOG, baby. I'm from Staten Island, all right? I'm representing, right? And I was fucking mad when he was laughing at me. Oh, you have no idea. Steam was coming from my ears. So then I'm wrestling in the main event against Omori, Johnny Ace, and Kabashi. It's me, Dr. Death, Steve Williams, and Gary Albright. And then Kabashi wanted to test me. I'm going chop for chop with him. I'm saying, yeah. And they said, Vito, don't back down. And I'm freaking going. And I'm saying, come on, I'm bringing it. I was bringing it legit. If they were like, all right, here we go. And when you look at the clip of the three of us in the ring, us the three big son of a bitches.
Love it, man. So I told you yesterday, my boy Jordan, he's my graphics guy, had some stuff for you. But he also want to start this hashtag. And I'm like this. We're going to get this going. Hashtag we want Vito. So everybody out there, that's what I want to see. I want to see y'all caption, "We want Vito." Let these people know. Let these promotions know we getting this man in his rightful place. Uh-oh, I just said it. His rightful place. When we saw Paul Heyman just got the call for the Hall of Fame, legendary career. Bull Nakano was announced this day as well. If you get that call, Hall of Fame, how do you feel, man? Does it mean anything? What does it mean to you?
All right, guys, I didn't become a wrestler to be a Hall of Famer. And, it's an honor to go in anybody's Hall of Fame. But my Hall of Fame is being Rivera Steakhouse in Japan. There's 2 restaurants. And my picture is up on both restaurant walls with the greatest wrestlers of all time. So if they say, "Did you ever make the Hall of Fame?" I say, "That's my Hall of Fame." But like anything else, if somebody wants to honor you, it would be an honor and a privilege to accept an award. And like I said, you never start out thinking you're going to be home run king. You're just trying to be a wrestler and trying to let people know you're in the house. And I think I did that.
For sure, man. Vito, thank you for your amazing time, man. Thank you for everything you did to this business and everything that you're going to do in the future, man.
Thank you very much.
Before we get out of here, go ahead, hit him with that 60 seconds, kick it to him one more time about how they can get a hold of you and your availability and everything, man, just so they know one more time.
All right, guys, I am available WrestleMania weekend. You want me to come to your home, want to do a watch along, you want to do anything, I'm there. You got seminars, you got wrestling shows, you got bookings, I'm there. Guys, any event you got in your hometown, it's a plane ticket, a hotel, and a fee. All right, wrestling. I will wrestle any gimmick, any style. You want the dress, you want Big Vito, you want Skull Bond Crush. Hardcore is extra, but I'll do it. You know what I'm saying? Get with me. It's at Big Vito at bigvito.com. Hit up the whip. They know the digits. If you need any other information, please email me, bigvito at bigvito.com. You have the banner on the wall right behind my man from the 419 at the whip. Check it out. It's a great thing. And thank you to the whip guys for making that for me. I appreciate it. Guys, check out this show. Be on here. Give this guy a like. Give him a subscribe. Hit the button. Don't be ashamed. If your girlfriend's watching, tell her to go to the next room and hit the like button because we down like that.
Let's get it, man. Vito, thank you again, dog. And we're going to chop it up, my brother, all right?
All right. Peace out.
Take care, man. Yep. All right, y'all. Once again, thank you for tapping in with us. I told you it was going to be a great show right here on the Whip Show. You know what to do. Like it. Like you said, comment, share. Hit him up. Big Vito at bigvito.com. Or you can reach out to me, and I'll make sure you get the information. But Toledo, we're going to slide right now. So take care of yourself right here at the Wrestling Heroes and Insiders Podcast, a.k.a. The Whip Show. Take care, y'all.